globe, witnessing a brand new day. And I hope everything is going well for you. This is going to be the air signs reading for this week. That's going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Excuse me. So this week I'm going to be clearing the space with this stick of cassia bark. Wonderful. Pay no attention to that asshole honking their horn outside. So the first sign that I'm going to read for today is, of course, Gemini. I am still using my Oliver Hibbert tarot decks, and I combined them. That's why they're not in the box. So let's begin. So Gemini. How are you today? Oh, you don't say. Gemini, if you would, go ahead and set your intention for the reading and allow any thoughts and feelings that go along with that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind. And just wait there gently and patiently. It's important to be gentle and patient with oneself. Let those things wait there gently and patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if these are things that are causing you stress or discomfort, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. So as you inhale, draw in divine source energy, let it infiltrate every cell, every molecule of your being. And then As you exhale, just release any of those things that are no longer serving you. They will be returned to source and they will be transmuted. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm just going to yawn the whole time I do readings now that I have a day job. What a drag. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine in the long run. Okay. July 6th, all day long. Okay. So let's begin here in the past, where we have the Three of Pentacles, and it's showing up upright for you, Gemini. So this Three of Pentacles is all about work situations or situations where a group of people is coming together to do a project. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a workplace, but would be associated with the energy of a place that is, I'm hearing providing income, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. More like communal project type situations. And this card is in the upright and it's in the past, which means that this situation is continuing from the past into the current situation and still very much informing the current state of affairs. Now, what we have there, this is very interesting. We have the High Priestess in the place of the Significator. And this card is crossed by the Ten of Swords. So it's possible that this teamwork type situation has come to an end. And it looks like for you, Gemini, it's because you are keeping secrets about things. So there's an ending, and you're staying very closed off. Like you have a lot of information available to you as this High Priestess here. And there's actually, this is a card associated with the moon in the major arcana, but there is a lot of duality to this card. And so can also be associated with Gemini just through merit of the traits of the card itself. So there is a certain amount of duality here, that this High Priestess is somebody who is very aware of the current environment, the current situation, aware of the endings, aware of the dynamics within this group that might have led to this ending. Here in the Imam Silai, that's down at the bottom here, and it is the card that is the foundation or the origin in the current situation for what will be occurring in the midheaven with the eventual outcome, the goal or destiny. The card that we have there is a very strong foundation with the Emperor. However, one thing about this card that's very polarizing is that it can also be about levels of control in a situation, and can be about the dynamic of one person being in control of a situation. So we see that coming through here. Now that's a little bit different from this energy of the High Priestess. but it's still kind of a solitary energy. The High Priestess is a very solitary energy. And it could be that you're splitting away from an authority figure at this time, Gemini. And that's why this group dynamic is splitting up. From your perspective, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Now, she's coming out in the upright. You perceive that through the seeds you have planted, there will be a fertile proliferation of wealth for you. And from the outside looking in, we have the King of Swords. This is air of air energy. So we have this very passive energy. These are passive energies. The queens are water, and the Queen of Pentacles is water of earth. And that is balanced against this air of air energy. Oh, excuse me. With the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords, I consider kind of analogous to the Justice card in the Minor Arcana and can also represent Libra. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a masculine energy, but is an active energy. And people might be perceiving of you that you are capable of great discernment. Now, that definitely goes along with this High Priestess energy, that you're kind of parsing things out at this time. And people might be looking to you. You might have risen up as kind of an authority figure in this situation by merit of the fact that you have all the answers, you know what's going on, and you're able to kind of discern what is happening overall. And other people might then be looking to you for that information. Here in the future, we have the Eye. So this is one of the secret arcana. And this card is showing up in the reverse. So in the future, that can mean that it is a potential energy that once you arrive at that point in time, the card then becomes upright, that you'll be able to see all of the colors, see all of the auras, see all of the possibilities, even see using your extrasensory perceptions. But that those things are not open to you yet. Not open to you in the current situation, about the future situation yet. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Shadow. So you might be afraid that things are hidden from you. Let me just check the meaning on that. Hidden lies, revealed lies. So you are hoping that people's dishonesty is going to be uncovered at this time. But really, it doesn't seem like you're too bothered about it, Gemini, because you are coming through as this Queen of Pentacles, which is a very receptive energy, as opposed to how people are perceiving you in this very active energy. So you're not actually putting yourself out there in too active of a way and trying to ferret out lies necessarily, but it's just that you have all of the answers, and the key being this information that you are able to discern and provide that information to others, and that by merit of its existence uncovers these lies. Excuse me. Up here in the midheaven, this is going to be the eventual goal or destiny of this situation. And we have the Page of Wands in the upright. Now, this Page of Wands is somebody who's very precocious, very energetic, but possibly doesn't have a lot of follow through. The Page of Wands can also be about the concretion of something. The pages are earth energy and thus represent concretion, taking things from the ethereal and bringing them down and making them concrete in the physical plane. And with the Page of Wands, that would be creative energies, creative projects beginning. And that's going to be happening because you are seen as an authority figure in some way, Gemini. So, your final outcome for this reading is the single lady, the Nine of Pentacles. And this really reinforces that Queen of Pentacles energy. These are very similar cards. The Nine of Pentacles is someone who's also very independent, like the High Priestess. So we're getting, Gemini, your independence here, your financial success and stability. Do notice that there is this little snail down at the bottom of this card. And that snail represents the length of time, how this passive energy builds over time. On the Queen of Pentacles, we have a rabbit, which is known for its fertile proliferation also. But then here on the Nine of Pentacles, there's this reminder to remain patient in the current situation. But I think most of all, just remaining unbothered by anything having to do with this ending is going to be greatly beneficial to you at this time, Gemini. So that is going to conclude the Gemini reading for this week. After the Earth sign readings have concluded, I will be going over to the members side of the channel to do some crystal scrying. If that is something that interests you, you are cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. So next we're going to read for the sign of Libra. Libra, 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 Libra. All right. Now, Libra, if you would like, I invite you to go ahead and set your intention for the reading. And allow any of the thoughts or feelings associated with that to rise to the forefront of your mind. And just wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if any of these things are stressful to you or causing you discomfort in any way, physically or mentally or psychologically, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in divine source energy in whatever perception you like the best. And then as you exhale, just release any of that tension or strain right back to source, and it will be transmuted. All right, so Libra, what is going on for you this week? All right. All right, Libra. Let me write down your timestamp. There we go. And let's begin. Here in the past, we have the mushroom in the reverse. Now, this could be an energy that has since passed out of your life, and that's why it's showing up reversed. So I will read about the mushroom. Unexpected situations, long-lasting peculiar effects, unimaginable happenings guided by the stars. So that could have been the energy for you, Libra, in the past. That you had these unimaginable happenings and you felt guided by the stars. But in the current situation, things have shifted a little bit. So the energy in the place of the significator is Capricorn's card in the major arcana, the Devil. This is a very complicated energy. You see that we have this person has fire on their tail, this person has fruit, the temptation. These chains look very loose, like they could be removed. But it's possible that maybe it's a little too tight of a fit. It's very hard to gauge with the Devil. And, I think that a lot of readers tend to be a little victim blaming when they talk about the Devil because you can't always free yourself from these things necessarily. A lot of them you can, but it's not something that overall you necessarily have control over. It could be something that is like an illness, a long-term illness. Even things like addiction, we don't necessarily have control over. And so I don't like to put the Devil out there in that way. This is your baser instincts taking control in situations where maybe that does or does not help you out. And that is crossed by the Knight of Swords energy, the need to be right. So it could be for you that part of your baser instinct is the need to feel like you're right in situations at whatever cost. Because the Knight of Swords is fire of air energy, so very strong, very full of conviction, and very willing to cut others down who stand in their path. Down here in the Imam Seelai, so this is going to be the foundations of what we look at in the midheaven, which is the goal or destiny, and is a little more distant into the future. We have the Judgment card here. Now, the Judgment card is all about the ascension process. It is Pluto energy in the major arcana, elemental fire energy, and is the penultimate card of the major arcana. The card following is the World, and the World card is also here. We'll get to it in a moment. But you're going through an ascension process. There might be tests associated with this. Your performance might be judged. So the judgment, there can be judgment going on that wouldn't be like a court case like the Justice card, but would be more like judging one's performance in a certain action. From your perspective, You are showing up to this party as the King of Pentacles in the upright. This is air, earth energy, very balanced, very stable. So that element of air is there. You might also have earth prominently in your chart, especially with the devil coming out in the place of the significator. Some of you might have Capricorn in your chart. So you perceive yourself to be very financially stable, showing up to this situation in which you are going to be judged. From an outside person's perspective, looking in, we have this fixed energy card, the final card of the major arcana, the world card. This is all about completion, things coming full circle. It is about concretion, establishment. So people do perceive about you at this time that something is coming to a close for you. Here in the future, we have a victory in the form of the Six of Wands. So there's victory and mobility here. This card is a lot like the Chariot card, but that is Cancer's card. And there are some slight differences. This card, this person is moving in a clear direction, whereas the Chariot card, they are not. And there is a clear victory that they are celebrating here as well, whereas the Chariot card is more about triumph and success in more general and broad terms. This is going to be like a parade being thrown for you, some kind of celebration in which you are the person of honor. Here in your hopes and fears, Libra, we have the Two of Cups. Maybe you're afraid that you lack close companionship in your life. And remember that the Two of Cups, even though it is about emotion, we do have the implication of passion here with the caduceus showing up as a wand, but also talking about, because the caduceus is the tool of Mercury, talking about communication in emotional bonding. So with that card in the reverse, you could be going through situations where you don't feel particularly bonded to another person. Here in the midheaven, this is going to be the goal or the result of this ascension process that you're going through. And here in the midheaven, we have emotional satiety. And you see that people are bonding emotionally here, but they're also kind of moving beyond that and bonding with the positive vibes that are present in general. So there can be a relationship that comes out of this, a romantic relationship, a new friendship, a new partnership of some kind. That is possible, but there's also the ending of a cycle here for you. And it's going to be a positive ending to an emotional cycle. That maybe you are single no longer. Maybe your belief system has changed drastically, and you're now coming to the other side of that. All of those things are possibilities. I do see for you this week, Libra, there is some energy of endings, but it's very positive energy of endings. And here in the final outcome, we do have the mirror. And the mirror is showing up in the reverse. Now, the final outcome position is kind of like advice. It's kind of like false reflection. Can be warnings also. So you might be seeing a false reflection. This is counter to the world card. And if you look at the way that the world card is laid out, it very much looks like a mirror itself. the way that it's round. But this would be not a fully accurate depiction of what's actually going on. Because remember, you're still kind of in the middle of this transformation in the current situation. So don't think that everything has unfolded yet, even though the people around you perceive that to be the case. And that's a crucial point, because even though everything looks like it's all tied up, all the loose ends are tied up, there is the potential for more things to unfold, because we're not quite there yet. Additionally, with this King of Pentacles in the upright, look at those traits. Why is it that this is your identity right now, Libra? I don't feel like it's necessarily bad, but I do feel like it could be a little limiting for you at this time. So that is going to conclude the Libra reading for this week. I'm going to go after the Aquarius reading to the members side of the channel to do some crystal scrying. If that is of interest to you, you are cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. All right, so now we're moving to the final sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius, if you would, go ahead, set your intention, and allow, any thoughts or feelings associated with that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind, and just wait there patiently and quietly while I shuffle the cards. And if any of these things are causing you turmoil or discomfort or internal strife, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale, draw in divine source energy. Allow it to infiltrate every cell, every molecule of your being. And then as you exhale, just release that right back to the universe, and it will be transmuted. Okay, Aquarius. So you had quite a few of the Secret Arcana cards come out, and we did have a jumper in your reading, the Ace of Swords. So that is definitely air elemental energy showing up in your reading. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I just get so tired after work. We have here the Candle in the past, and it's in the upright. So the candle is about letting your light shine out into the universe, letting it unfold, allowing people to be guided by your warmth, your spirit, and not tucking that energy too far away. And this started in the past, but this is an energy that is continuing into the current situation. And here, in that current situation, we have that active energy of air with the Ace of Swords, and it's crossed by the Three of Cups. So this very much reinforces what we see here. We have the active element of fire showing up with the candle. And with the Ace of Swords, you could make some changes during this time in your close friend circles. You could be making plans with your friends, being proactive about getting together with the people that you care about the most. That is possible at this time. Down here in the Imam Sili, this is going to be the foundation of the goal or destiny. We have a swift ending with closure. So everything wrapped up in a nice little bow, lots of good closure, and a swift ending to something. From your perspective, it's an end to warfare. There's not going to be any more fighting. So that's good. From an outside person's perspective, though, we have Mars in the upright, and this card is about disagreements and turmoil. So while the situation has ended, maybe you don't have any sour grapes about it, but maybe the other person does. Here in the future, we have another one of the Secret Arcana cards, and this is the Tomb. I haven't read the Tomb yet. Free your demons, sacrifice his power, clear your conscience before it's too late. So it's about opening the doors of that tomb and letting out all the specters and spirits. And that is in the upright in the future. So there, even though there's closure in this situation, there could be things that need to be cleared from the air. There could be, like a hashing out of all of these things that happened. Like, I remember when you did this thing, we still need to talk about it. As far as you're concerned, it looks like you're ready to bury the hatchet. But as far as this other person is concerned, I don't think they perceive things to be resolved. Now, it's important to know that things are resolved. Things have been resolved in the current situation. But that in order to clear the air, maybe there are things that still need to be talked about. Now, this isn't going to change anything, but it will potentially ameliorate the other person's feelings or other people's feelings about the situation. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Queen of Swords. She's in the upright. Now, the Queen of Swords is somebody who is not afraid to speak her truth, more than willing to do that, even if it means making a few enemies along the way. And this is air sign energy. This is water of air. So a very Aquarian card. In the midheaven position, this is what is going to result from this swift closure coming through for you, Aquarius. And in the midheaven, we have the Four of Swords, which all of you here on the channel know I call the nap time card. It means it's time to go take a nap. It's a card about rest and rejuvenation. And the final card for you, Aquarius, the final outcome, and this has to do, this wasn't a very long reading, but I feel like I've said everything that needed to be said. and I'm a little hungry. I hope you understand, Aquarius. The final outcome for you is the Two of Pentacles, and it's in the reverse. So this is a card that is not just about balance, but it can be about financial partnerships. And there might have been a situation with this close friend group where there was the potential for a financial partnership with somebody, but it was kind of squandered for whatever reason. Probably like there just wasn't good common ground for the two of you. And this might help in ameliorating that, but it looks like there's never really going to be parity between the two of you. And that's not what is really important in this situation because the closure is already there. The thing that is important in this situation is understanding where this other person is coming from. They might be justified, they might not be justified. But exploring that is the key to making these changes that you would like to make, Aquarius. Understanding why this person was drawn to you in the first place, why the two of you came together, if there is some kind of power dynamic at play, because that's something that kind of is coming out here for me in this reading. That this person is kind of coming from a place of lack, from a place of scarcity, where this partnership is concerned, and therefore you're never really going to be able to be on even ground with them. That maybe where you were concerned, everything was just normal and fine in most situations, but that they might have secretly harbored ill feelings or ill intent about some certain part of these things, and that overall would have influenced you adversely. So that is going to conclude all of the air sign readings for this week. All of the air signs. I'm going to go now over to the members side of the channel to do the crystal scrying. So if that interests you, you are cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated, no matter what form it takes. Those of you who watch the lives, those of you who watch later, you know I leave the timestamps down in the description box. Those of you who are channel members, regular viewers, first-time viewers, your likes, shares, subscriptions, comments, and participation in the chat are all greatly, greatly appreciated. And until I see you again, have a wonderful,